What's up YouTube, welcome to another deconstruction video. In this video I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes as well as editing. So this is a 2-for-1 video where I show you exactly what happened behind the scenes and how I was able to bring these images to life in Capture One mostly. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so our beautiful model here, Bola, she sent me this outfit. And I can't lie, when I saw the outfit, the first thing that came to mind was Lindsay Adler, and I kind of borrowed from her style, right? So we just went with very, very bold colors. So the outfit itself is red, and then we decided to go with red backdrop. I remember Victoria asking red on red, but I had some ideas on how to make it work. So we got the red paper backdrop, and yeah, we put some lights around. So we would start up with different setups. What we did here is that we had like about 3 different setups. They seem very similar, but they're just a little bit different from one another, so I achieved these different images. So we can start with our image number, what the final image looks like. And what we did here was quite simple. We had how many lights? 1, 2, 3, 4. So about 4 lights. So we have 2 lights behind her. They're both 8600s. One is pointing at the background and one is pointing at her. So the one pointing at the background is not gelled, right? So it's just the light alone, while the one pointing at the backdrop rather is not gelled, while the one pointing at her is gelled red, right? The reason we've done that is because we plan to introduce smoke later on. I wanted that smoke to show up. And then there's also one 8100 that is just hanging right above her head, and as you can see here, that is what is illuminating the smoke you're seeing in this final image at the top part here. Thirdly, we're lighting her with continuous light and a Fresnel head. So we're lighting her with a non-light 500 bicolor lights and in a Fresnel. So the Fresnel helps us to be able to focus the lights. If you don't know what a Fresnel is kind of like an adjustable grid. So that's how I would explain it, because you can use it to make your light beam more focused or spread out. So think about it like a lens, right? So it's like a zoom lens. You can either make the light spread out more or let it be more concentrated with the Fresnel. So we're using that Fresnel continuous lights from camera right to light her face. And yeah, we just took a couple of shots, played around with the poses a bit, and we're able to come out with this. So it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I don't believe we used any fill lights here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 lights in total. 2 behind her, 1 facing the background, 1 facing her, 1 at the top of her head, and then our key lighting her. So this is what the image started out as, and then we moved it to here. So very, very simple. What we did in Capture One was to go to our color tab, advanced, and just click on the red, and I just made the red a bit darker. So nothing too crazy, that's all we did really, and then we cleaned up our face in Photoshop. That's how we go here. Alright, so to our second setup, which is slightly different, is that I found out that I didn't really like the hot spots behind her here in this image, and no matter how low I put my light, it was still a bit too hot. So what we did was that I put that light, I took it out and I put it in a grid, and I put stuff to camera right. So that's it, just pointing to the backdrop somewhere here. I just wanted the backdrop to have some character. Once you're working with paper, most times you want the backdrop to not just be plain. So that just hits in here and creating a bit of dynamism in the backdrop is what we achieved. Otherwise, everything is pretty much the same as in that image, except she's facing the other way now, and then we are getting some kind of Rembrandt light on her face, or really extended loop lighting. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward for image number 2. For the editing, we did pretty much the exact same thing. We just made our reds a bit darker. Also, for all these images, I changed the profile on my camera to vivid. I normally shoot around standard or portrait or flat, but I knew I was going for really strong vivid colors, so that's why I shot vivid. And you can see with vivid, even from the start, the images already look really contrasty and colorful. All right, so here we go for image number 3, which is one of my favorite images so far. And in this one, we moved our key lights to the other side. And I think we also swapped out the Fresnel head. So in this image here, we stopped using the Fresnel. And then what we're doing here is that we're using a cone. We joke in the studio, we call it a megaphone because it's like a big cone with a grid at the end of it. And we changed to using flash instead of continuous light to lighten her. No real reason why, just the choice that we decided to make. You know, it's always easier to shoot with flash most times because you don't risk motion blur and all of that that you get when you use continuous lights. So we're using that from camera left. Our light at the top still remains. That's the 8100. Mind you, the 8100 is also gelled, so that's a gelled light source. It's not just the plain light source as well. It has a tiny little grid on it. So we have that from the top, and now on the right here we changed something up a little bit. So what we did here is that we are now using an optical snoot, right? So we're using an optical snoot to create a gelled optical snoot, also with a 500 watt light from camera right, and that is what is hitting her from, that's her left hand side and our right hand side. So it's coming this way and it's hitting that. We also have a light at the back as well that is also making this smoke illuminated, as you can see here. And lastly, we have this one, which is my absolute favorite image. I think I should have started with this one, but this is my favorite image from the session, and it's exactly what we did in the last image. So the Fresnel is not the Fresnel, the optical snoot is from camera right at her back, and that's hitting all of them, creating the smoke and the fog effect. I just like her pose here. I love the loop lighting. I think that it's really bold and it's really strong. So all these images are pretty similar. I'll just put them together like this. And let's just do a full screen. Okay, so yeah, so this is what we have with the 4 images. Or let me just do 3 so we can see a fuller screen. Yeah, so this is what we have. So they are all very, very similar ideas with lighting hard lights with our subject and just using smoke and all of that to play around. Now, for the smoke, we also use the Smoke B. This is a very interesting, very compact solution for creating smoke. I find that it gives us a lot more control than using a traditional smoke machine that just throws smoke everywhere. So yeah, that's what we use for that. Tips to lighting or creating like this, I feel like just don't be scared to experiment. I had a big idea in my head when we started, but I never knew how it was going to turn out. But we just tried our best and we're able to come up with some of these images, and at least I think that the one on the right here really stands out. Like, probably push that into my portfolio. For the editing, we didn't do too much because we kind of knew where we were going already, and that editing process started from when we put the cameras on visual mode. Just a little bit of frequency separation, nothing too much. If you don't know how to do frequency separation, this is not a video for that. I'll put a link in the description below, and I'll put a card up top for you to watch my frequency separation video. Also, I'm sure that if you go through my channel, you'll find other videos about deconstruction and editing like this. I hope you guys really enjoyed today's video. I hope you learned a thing or two. Please put a comment in the comment section below what you learned, or if you will be willing to try something like this, or if you would even dare shoot red on red. I hear some people will not even try to do this because, I don't know, it might seem too much. But yeah, I like what we got and I'm happy with it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, and can't wait to see you in the next one. Cheers.